Today on the TMZ Podcast.
Hello and welcome to the TMZ Podcast. I'm Charlie Cotton and today I'm joined by Eric Colley. How are you, Eric?
Good, how are you doing?
Very well, thank you. Well, you know just about everything about music.
Okay.
And so we got you in for these massive music stories.
There's a lot to talk about.
You're like the person in the office that can tell you what was number one, 15 years ago.
What was 15? I can't tell you what 15 years ago was. What was that, 2008?
How about my birthday? My birthday. I was born in 1988. What was number one?
Oh,
August 1988 was my birthday. Oh, it's a challenge.
88's a tricky year because there was a lot of number one hits that year. Every week it was changing. There was like 30 number ones that year. August, maybe Roll With It by Steve Winwood.
Okay.
Was like that summer.
Okay. I don't know.
I could be wrong on that one. I'll tell you if I don't know.
But I don't know if you're wrong or right.
But that was the big number one hit of 88.
Roll With It.
4 weeks at number one that summer.
There we go. I haven't even heard of it.
Nah.
Okay. Today.
Well, you were just born, so.
I was just born. So it was a weird time to be listening to Roll With It. Happy Tory Lanez sentencing day.
Yeah. It was supposed to be yesterday, but it's going to be today.
It's going to be today. We're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about Kevin Costner. He was out last night at the Taylor Swift concert. Good place to meet young single mum.
Right.
But to begin with, we're going to talk about Kanye West, Yeezus. He's resurrected. He's back. He was performing with Travis Scott in Rome.
Yeah, so Travis Scott, his Utopia tour has shown up in Rome, and he brought a special guest out that nobody was expecting.
Right.
He brought Kanye out, and he said that Kanye was the only human being on this blanking planet that has ever walked side by side with me through anything and everything. And Kanye kind of put Travis Scott on. And Travis has always been very loyal to him. There's a song on the new Utopia album where Travis even says, "I got yay over Biden," talking about the election. And so he brought Kanye out, his first big performance since the whole anti-Semitic rant that derailed his career, cost him billions of dollars. And crowd loved it.
The crowd absolutely loved it. And it just reminded me that Kanye is Teflon Don. Like, he can say and do anything, and he's just going to be fine.
Right. He is. And even the performance, he sounded more like his own hype man than actually Kanye because they had the track playing. So his vocals are recorded, and he was just kind of like, yeah, jumping in like certain lyrics here and there, like just sort of Kanye was his own hype man. But
the crowd didn't care.
They did not care.
It was interesting, though, because both of these guys have caught controversy recently, obviously with Travis Scott and the Astroworld stuff, and the court cases, we're still in the midst of those court cases, so it's not like that is, gone forever now. So it's interesting just like Kanye joining him on stage for the first time. It's just too sort of like, I know cancel culture, it's not a real thing. We've realized now that no one gets canceled. No. But just to see these two guys on stage that have so much controversy about them together and the crowd just going off, like loving them. It was just like it was a bizarre thing to see. Kind
of, because you kind of thought, oh, well, Kanye is done. And he hasn't really done a whole lot since all the controversy. So the question has been, will he be accepted when he comes back? And looks like, yeah.
Yeah.
Some people, I think, will never go back. When, saying I love Hitler, it's kind of hard to bounce back from that completely. But it looks like he's in a good spot.
I think, yes, saying I love Hitler is hard for most people to bounce back from.
Right.
But because Kanye just is the guy who says and does anything. And I don't even really think that he believes things he says. He just says and does anything.
Just to be outrageous.
Just to be outrageous. So that almost buys him a little bit of sort of like get out of jail free card. Because do I really think that he loves Hitler and hates Jews? I mean, I guess I don't know. I guess I just don't know. And obviously it's awful that he said that, and I don't know that he'll be welcomed back by everybody, but I think that he'll still be able to maintain relevance in one way or another.
I mean, there were a lot of people who supported him through it anyway. Like there are some people that were never going to turn against him. Some people, sadly, started liking him because of that.
Oh.
They're like, oh, he's a free thinker and says what he wants.
Right.
Okay, if what you think is anti-Semitic thoughts, maybe that's not great, but people still do love him. And you got to remember, Kanye and Travis are almost like brothers-in-law, literally, because, of course, Kanye has all the kids with Kim. Travis has kids with Kylie. Travis and Kylie were never... Wait, were they married? No.
No.
Now I can't even remember.
No. This is why we need a microphone.
I know. Travis and Kylie were never married, but they were together for a long time, had kids together, and Kanye obviously married to Kim and had kids.
Interesting.
They were kind of family.
Yeah, they really were. So, I mean, I like loyalty as a general sort of concept, but man, I guess Travis is just ride or die for Kanye, and good on him.
Yeah, people say they're ride or die. He really is. Like, he is not getting off the Kanye train. So, yeah.
It'll be interesting when Kanye comes out with new music. Just like if it's just a banger, will just everybody just be back on the Kanye bandwagon?
I don't think everybody will. I think he definitely alienated some people for good with that.
Yeah.
That's a hard thing to get past.
And it's the same thing as when he was walking around with the Donald Trump MAGA hat and the red hat. And it was like, I don't think that he was really even understanding what he was doing. He just wanted to do something the opposite of what you thought he wanted to. You know,
he's just being provocative.
He's being provocative. So I think that's what a lot of people will let slide at the end of the day, that this guy just says and does wild crazy
and
stuff.
Kanye's acknowledged having some sort of mental illness. So I think people chalk some of that up to, was he just having a manic episode? And who knows? Maybe he was.
Maybe he was. All right. On to our next story. Tory Lanez. He's going to get sentenced today. The prosecution is asking for 13 years. This is because of shooting Meg The Stallion in the foot in that incident. She was supposed to be, or there was some speculation that she'd be in the courtroom to listen to the sentencing, but apparently she is too sort of like
traumatized.
I was going to say triggered, but I didn't want to use that word. She's
traumatized.
She's traumatized by everything that happened, doesn't want to be in the same room. She says she hasn't been able to find peace since all of this happened.
Right. She's like, I can't be in the same room as him, which is totally understandable. I mean, he did shoot at her. And then she said it wasn't even just the shooting. It's that he was so unapologetic about it after it happened, made a joke of it, talked about it in his songs. And she's like, if he had ever been really contrite, I could have healed and moved on, but he never was. So I can't sit there and look at him. Triggering is not a bad word, I think, in this sense. It triggers things in her.
Is he contrite right now? Is he any sort of like, because she thinks that he has taken zero accountability and he's been like saying, it's because of my childhood trauma, or it's because of XYZ.
The system is broken, and this and that. Yeah.
And that can be quite, come on, man, just take responsibility.
Right, and maybe that's why the prosecutors are going for such an extreme sentence. What do you think of that? 13 years for shooting at someone?
It seems like people get less for more.
I think you could actually murder someone and not necessarily get 13 years.
So, okay, so they're just asking for 13 years, but they generally don't get what they ask for,
I don't think he'll get 13 years. That would be pretty insane.
Will he get time?
Maybe. I mean, it's going to depend on, on the judge, but I mean, I don't think he'll get just probation.
This is just the judge deciding, or the jury?
The jury already decided.
So the jury, okay.
This is the sentencing.
This is me just being dumb at legal stuff.
Oh, well, don't put that on me.
Yeah. So what happens in court cases, jury decides, judge sentence. Gotcha. Okay. So
right.
we'll see where it comes out, slides out. It'll be a few years or maybe less.
Yeah, probably. I don't think he'll get 13 years for this.
Do you know who, and this is a genuine question, do you know who wrote a letter of sort of recommendation for Tory on his behalf to the judge saying go light on him?
I don't.
Iggy Azalea.
What? Why?
Iggy Azalea was part of, you can send letters to the judge to sort of like, she asked the judge, don't impose a sentence that will destroy his life, please. And so she wrote like a character witness sort of thing.
What's the connection between Iggy Azalea and Tory Lanez? Were they...
I
don't remember them working together. Maybe they did.
Yeah, it's a strange... I don't know if the judge is going to get to that letter and go... You know what? Let's just let him out.
I thought 13 years seemed fair, but Iggy Azalea says no, and
free him.
Free him.
So yeah, we'll have to stay tuned to see what happens this afternoon, sometime today.
It'll be interesting to see what that sentencing is.
Yeah, because if he goes away, then I don't know. It'll just be crazy development to this story that it's gotten to this point. Because I remember we've been covering this for a long time. Back in July 2020 is when it happened, and it seems like this has been ever present in the entertainment news cycle. So if he like sees time or gets other sanctions imposed on him, it'll be interesting to see.
But even if he serves some sort of time, even a couple of years, that's not the end of his career necessarily. There's lots of artists who've made music while they were in prison and came out and they were fine.
And just like we were just talking about Kanye, do you think he'll shake all of this off and maybe even be more famous and more people know of him because of all of this incidents?
I don't know what actually is career ending at this point.
No.
Like, it seems like you can just kind of bounce back from everything.
Right. Is R. Kelly's career over?
Okay, that one is.
Okay.
Yeah, you got me there.
Okay. Let's bounce onto the next song. Kevin Costner. He was at the Taylor Swift concert last night. It's a funny video we got. You'll have to go to our website and look at the video, because otherwise you're just going to hear Taylor
Right.
Swift's backing track. He's dancing to Never Ever Getting Back Together.
Right, as he's going through this very bitter divorce right now with his estranged ex-wife, Christine, where he had to, like, you know, get her forced out of their home together. So yeah, he's at the concert with his daughter Grace, and Taylor's doing "We Are Never Ever Getting Back Together," one of her most famous songs, and he is just smiling along, watching as she's singing it. And I think what's funny about that, I don't think we're just reading too much into it, because we have another clip where Taylor's performing "Love Story," and he's talking to some buddies and not paying attention at all. So "Love Story," not getting back together, that I'm into.
I think it's just a really good job on whoever the person in the crowd who was filming this. They went there, they knew their set list, and they saw Kevin back there and like, what moments during Taylor's songs am I going to film him to make a sort of story? And they got the perfect ones. "Love Story," they're never getting back together.
Yeah.
They got it perfect.
That's perfect. I mean, because yeah, they are never ever getting back together. That is a relationship that is done.
It does seem that. Well, I mean, he's there with his daughter, their daughter. Apparently he's not happy that his ex-wife Christine was seen in Hawaii with one of his best mates.
Well, who would be?
Well, yeah, who would be? That's right.
Yeah.
But now he's going to Aspen with the kids. He's going to Taylor Swift with the kids. He's just playing like perfect daddy.
Right. And also, and just publicly, that makes him look good, because she had accused him of cheating, which he's denied and said that's absolutely not true. But now he's like dad of the year, taking his kids like on all these vacations and to see Taylor Swift, and she's on vacation with the boyfriend. Kevin Costner's been famous for a very long time, and he understands there's a lot of publicity and there's a lot of image. He's looking really good right now.
He is.
Yeah.
I would have thought that there's a lot of crossover between fans of Yellowstone and fans of Taylor Swift. Like, I would have thought that in that building, he would have got a lot of love.
But I would think Yellowstone has older fans, right? And Taylor's fans are younger-ish, up to like 30s?
Yeah, but it's kind of country-ish. You know, a lot of white people.
That is true. Like, white people like some basic things. So I'm white, I can say that.
Yeah, you're right. You know who else was there? Tiffany Haddish, Cameron Diaz, Sophia Richie, Zoe Saldana, Ashley Greene, all last night. They were all there last night. Flavor Flav was there last night.
So not just white people like Taylor Swift.
True,
See,
true.
She appeals to everybody.
Flavor Flav was actually there with Taylor Swift's parent.
It sounds so weird, but I kind of love, we asked Flavor Flav about it once, and he's like, I just like good music.
Yeah.
And he's never, that's why he doesn't seem that old to me, because he's always been into like younger things. He's like, if it's good, it's good. I like it. I like that about him.
I like that about him too, that he's not sort of like, he doesn't worry about judgment.
No, he likes what he likes and does what he does, and who cares?
Absolutely. I love that. Now, before we go, it would be remiss not to mention the guy who did the Cha-Cha Slide.
Right. Mr. C, the Slide Man, DJ Casper, has sadly passed of cancer, only in his late 50s. Like, he was not that old, but that song is like one of those like all-time banger kind of songs. You've heard it at weddings, at every party, everything you've been to. You know, the one time, hump, reverse, cha-cha.
Yeah, I mean...
It's hard to sing it because there's not really lyrics to it.
I'm familiar with it now more that I live in America. It's not sort of like a big wedding song in Australia. We got our own sort of like silly... I won't say silly.
What is the weird Australian wedding dance song?
I mean, I guess we just do Nutbush. Do you do Nutbush here? Nutbush City Limits.
Oh, the Tina Turner song?
Yeah. And we got to hold that Nutbush. We got to hold down that Nutbush. You don't do that Nutbush dance?
I've never been to a wedding where that song was played.
Oh, see, we've got a whole dance to do with Nutbush. Do you know the dance? Oh, you guys.
I mean, I know the song, but that's not like a wedding staple in America. No.
Oh, that's our cha-cha.
I kind of like that better, but it's fun. But I actually was looking this up because I wondered if you would know it. So that song only got to number 64 in Australia.
Okay.
But it only went to number 83 in America.
Oh,
it wasn't a chart hit, but that charts don't always measure everything. So this song was a cultural moment that still is. It's endured for over 20 years now. There was a famous SNL sketch with John Mulaney where he was doing it at a black wedding. I guess you never saw that one?
No, I didn't.
It was such a big sketch, they did a sequel to it.
And is that what sort of popularized it so much?
No, it was already popular. That's why they used the song in the sketch.
So how did it take off? If it didn't chart and then it got sort of like cult success or cultural, I guess that's what cult means. Cultural success.
Yeah.
How did it sort of like become such like a mainstay wedding song?
Because it's such a when you go to like a club or a wedding or something like that, and that song plays, because it's one of those songs that tells you what to do. It's hard to mess up the dance because he's just shouting out what you're supposed to be doing as you're doing it, and so people just connected with it and want to hear it at clubs. But that doesn't reflect on the charts. It's one of those things everybody knows. But like the Electric Slide never was a big chart hit.
What about Macarena?
Oh, that was number 1 for 14 weeks. That was a massive hit. Yeah,
Macarena was everywhere on the radio.
It's one of the like top 10 songs of all time.
The Macarena.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Was it around like imagine driving in your car and all you hear is Macarena every?
Oh,
station?
I do remember. I don't know how big it was in Australia, but in America, yeah, you could not avoid that song.
What year was that?
That was it hit number 1 in '96.
I told you guys that Eric was this savant. I told you at the top he was.
Yeah, because I know how long the Macarena was number 1. I wish my brain was good for useful things.
That's a fun fact, though, Eric. Right. Thank you very much for joining us here today.
Always fun.